This is a semi-enclosed area of land, very traditional in Britain. What we're on here is a 5,000 acre estate, big house, the south end of what we call the Forest of Dean. We have wild boar, which we've just been trying to get. Yep. We have wild fallow deer, we have muntjac deer, roe deer. But 300 years ago, the people who lived here built this big area of about 400 acres, and they enclosed all these hills and valleys, and they have an ornamental herd of fallow deer. Now, it's not like a field. I mean, you can see they disappear. This is really difficult. Because though it's sort of enclosed, there are holes in the walls, they come and go. We have to every year cull the numbers, just like you do in the wild. Sure. This is semi-wild. Okay. So this is like a microcosm of deer management. Here you're looking at a 400 acre area that at this time of year we would like to see about 150 deer living in, fallow deer.
That can be supported by?
Just natural growth. They're not being fed. There's no supplemental food. Okay. They're living here. There's about 250 right now. There were 300. So wow. Our job today, there's 5 rifles, and it's an excellent test of our new rifle. Our job today is to try to harvest, and it literally is a harvest, 15 or 20 or more of these deer. Yep. So Warren will walk, and he'll walk with somebody, swap over with somebody else. So everyone walks and everyone stands, and everyone has a valley or somewhere like this, and the deer will come over initially in a big gang, and then they'll split up into smaller groups. We're trying to harvest females predominantly. Think of big does, but if you can't get a big doe and you get a good shot at a follower, you can shoot a follower as well. Okay. Neck shooting is the ideal scenario.
And why is that?
Look, we do this for meat. Okay. There are 2 reasons for managing deer in the UK. One is environmental. We have far too many of them. We have a monumental issue in England. Scotland's different with biodiversity loss, and one of the drivers of that is a too high deer population. Okay. Effectively, the forest floor cover is being completely denuded of anything. The minute a tree tries to grow, it's eaten. So that means you don't have habitat for the little animals that no one really thinks about. They're not trendy. The shrews, the voles, the mice, the worms, the invertebrates, the grubs, the ground nesting birds. And the irony is that deer actually do, in large numbers, deer can do this. So our job as deer managers is to control the deer. And I have a venison business and restaurants, so I want an asset. So to me, they're an asset, but I want them to be a level where the farmers, the foresters, the gamekeepers find it acceptable that every year I can take a harvest.
So keep the balance.
It's called farming the wild for a reason.
There you go.
So, and that is why we called it farming the wild, because that is what we do. And okay, this is semi-enclosed, but for the good of the deer, they have the lesser the number, the healthier the herd, to a degree. Okay. So you saw that deer that Rob shot. That was very fat and healthy indeed.
Beautiful doe, yeah.
Fabulous condition, right? Excellent condition. Half an inch of fat in its breast. But I'm looking at the grass here at this time. It's now early March, very thin. This is the lean time for animals. Sure. March and April is the worst time. So we might give them some sugar beet, for example. Okay. Just to give them a boost. Okay. Or a bale of haylage, give them a bit of help. But it's a mild winter.
Get them through till spring.
Yeah, stuff's going to be growing soon. They're very resilient. Their metabolic rate goes right down in the winter. They don't require as much. If deer have cover, shelter, the requirement for food drops by up to 40%. Wow. They don't need to stay as warm. So you look at the shelter they have here. Yeah. They just dive into a bush. It gets cold and nasty, deer go in a bush. Shot. Excellent. Take another to get the chance. Down here. It's a great example, Beth, of where you put a body shot on a deer, which is literally right behind the shoulder blade. The shoulder blade has a notch, and this bullet, halfway up, the bullet will go through both lungs. This deer just wriggled a bit and died instantly. It was completely humane. There was no issues involved, and you know, it's a great result. This is an old female. She's got a long face. It's a good deer to take out the herd. It's just what we're trying to shoot. Perfect. And we'll use all that meat.
Yeah.
You know,
No meat wasted.
No, the shoulders will be fine. Everything's fine. All we're going to do now is just bleed. If you do that, I'm just going to bleed the deer. And this is an essential thing to do. So I will lift the front leg in here, wiggle, wiggle, reverse the knife, and I will now drag it round so it is pointing downhill. Next, the deer will have its head and leg removed. It will be weighed. It will hang in the chiller at sort of about just above 0 degrees, and it will hang there for a week until we skin it at deer box, and then it will be inspected by a government vet and stamped that it's for public use.
And where is this meat going to end up?
It's going to end up either in restaurants like mine and at my friends' restaurants, or through Deerbox direct to the people's doors. They can go online to deerbox.co.uk and they can cherry pick beautifully butchered anything you like. You can have a rack of fallow, you can have a butterflied leg of muntjac, you can have you know, pavés off the haunch.
Kind of like our Omaha Steak Company.
It is.
With
just
venison.
Wild deer.
Beautiful.
There we are. That's how it works.